And that actually does bring up a good point, is the more stuff that you bring into the cloud, that you push up to the cloud, the more your company is going to be reliant upon that pipeline working. Because one of the things that happens is if you have an exchange, a local exchange or local email environment, if person A sends an email to person B, it never goes outside of the building. It just goes to the server, and then from person A's machine to the server, and then over to person B's machine. So there's no internet pipeline used at all. Whereas if you send an email to from person A to person B in a cloud-based solution, then it goes from person A up to the cloud through that pipeline and then back down again. Okay? So you need to, it will put additional strain on that cloud connection, as will everything else. Oh, geez. I just suddenly got a whole bunch of Part of the issue is to pay attention to both screens.
That's better.
Okay. Yeah, I just looked down here and it was like 4 windows saying, will you accept this one? Will you accept this one? Will you accept this one? Okay. So now what's happening is, there you go. It actually does work. So, look at that big head.
Where's the bandana?
Yeah, you know. So now what's happening is we have this visual, video, audio, and what we can also do is I'm going to also share this monitor. Or actually, let's do this. Can you share yours? So there's a sharing request. Now if I turn this way, I'm facing myself. Anyway. So now the whole question of, hey, I'm working on something, I have a question for you. Okay. Bring up links, connect the call, do video, do audio, do text, whatever. I'm going to share this. I'll share this screen, or you share this screen. We can share control if you want to. You can do whatever. So we can go back and forth. So that whole, okay, let me do this. How's this sound? Well, I don't know, but I'd have to see it. Okay, I'll send it to you. Then, no, it's right there. Okay? And again, you do not have to be in the same building as you did with Communicator. Well, actually, in Communicator, you couldn't do the sharing part. That's where the integration comes of live meeting with Communicator comes in Link. Okay? And we can share new. I'm sorry?
Desktop, so you should be able to drag around the link windows.
Okay. So now I have control of his desktop. I have no control over John. This, in my opinion, is fantastic. And unfortunately, I'm sorry for the problems that we had. Half of them were from me looking this way instead of this way. So don't blame the software on that one. But to be able to do this level of connectivity, as simple as this is, and the fact that as organizations go to this technology, whether it be local because they go with a Link server at their facility or using Office 365, you'll also be able to connect with them. Makes it equally exciting. And the fact that you can still use this as you would use a live meeting, and that is invite a whole bunch of people who don't have Link at all and they can use either a web browser or download the program. I mean, it's just a lot of cool things here. A lot of cool things here. So.
How's the bandwidth though? That's got to be an issue.
Oh, the more people you have doing this, absolutely.
Well, I'm just thinking if a company has offices, sales offices, say they want to have a sales meeting and they have sales offices throughout, let's just stick with domestic.
Right.
You know.
Like I said, I did a 50-person meeting last week, and this was just a live meeting, okay? Not a problem. We just have cable. That's all we have. Because the issue is that what you have is, and this is one where the server actually helps you because it's cloud-based, is the only connection that you have to worry about is the connection from your desktop up to the server. In the case where you're having a bunch of connections with people who are in different buildings, different offices, then all of those other connections don't consume additional bandwidth. Okay? Now, if you had 10 people in your building that were part of that meeting, okay, now we're talking about consuming it. Okay? There are some times where the bandwidth helps you for the cloud. So if you have an extremely diverse working organization, this is great compared to traveling, unless you want to travel. So.
Have you tried it internationally?
I have not tried Link yet. I've tried, but the live meeting, yeah, and I haven't had a problem. Yeah. So, cool. And that was actually the last. Oh, one of the other nice things is when if you have multiple people on Link at the same time, the screen here will automatically go to the person who's talking. So if you have like 3 or 4 or 5 videos, it'll focus and show you the person who's currently chatting away. So, cool stuff. And you can record. So if you want to, you can record the whole meeting. So, a lot of cool things.
How does this compare to some video conferencing programs that are out there that are designed to set up for multiple group meeting internationally or even in the US?
If you talk like some of the Cisco, there's definitely going to be a better quality like with some of the Cisco tools or that sort of thing, because that truly is, they are trying to do high def communication and really that very high level, all that fun stuff. It's also going to be a bigger hit on your bandwidth. I think if you take a look at some of the lower level, WebEx, GoToMeeting, all that kind of thing, I think this works very nicely indeed. So, cool.
Do you have any security implications that you can address or speak to? In other words, if you're having a highly technical meeting
Right.
Internationally and you've got IP that you want to protect, aren't you exposed here?
You're exposed in the sense that you're sending information across the pipe. However, that's part of the whole thing that this was put together for, was to have actually secure and encrypted. So the traffic that's going across is encrypted, yes. And since we're saying this, the only people who can take part in this level of conversation are part of our federation, so it's also taking advantage of the Active Directory credentials. Now, if you start inviting people who are not part of your organization to take part of the meeting, some of that goes away. So if you're part of either, if all of the attendees are part of your organization or part of a federated organization, your security is going to be pretty decent. If they're not, then the security drops off a bit when you start talking about adding people from the outside. Okay?
I don't know if you guys caught, I dropped a PDF file just into the chat window. So if you're talking to someone, it makes it really easy just to share documents and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. So, cool. Again, any questions on this? Okay. To summarize, let me go to this. This is the way, again, the pricing is going to be going. Availability will be at some point in June. The beta is open right now. Anybody can sign up for it. If you're interested, we can walk you through signing up for a beta, all that fun stuff. It's pretty cool. So what do you think?
Interesting.
Yeah.
The current online client access exchange online is downloaded to the person's computer. With this, is that going to change?
It goes away. Yeah. In a migration from BPOS to Office 365, the single sign-on client's no longer needed. Okay. However, also Office 2003 will no longer work. So you got to be on Office 2007 or 2010.
Is there a download to download it for 365 then?
If you've already got Office 2007 or 2010, there is a patch or an update that happens, but it's not huge. It's not huge. 2007 and 2010 both are built to be able to create that kind of connectivity automatically. So.
Is it even simpler if you don't have any of that product to begin with?
It's about the same. It's about the same. It's one thing you don't have to uninstall. So, okay. Any other questions?
The public access databases, do you know what that means?
What that means is you can actually start putting access databases up on SharePoint. So, and there's some functionality that you get on SharePoint both with the Visio, the Excel, and Access databases. So that's where that's coming from. Okay. Cool. Well, my understanding is they actually have another group coming here at 1 o'clock, which is why those tables are over there. And John's already trying to join them, which I find kind of weird. So, but thank you all. We'll stick around to sort of answer any questions or anything like that. But thank you all for coming. Would have been real weird if no one would have showed up. So, yep. And we want to get your evals and all that fun stuff.